This is for the win from 29 from the right hash. Kuz's kick is good. Here is Durant for the win. DeRozan, James for the win. It's gone. LeBron James at the buzzer.
He's reminding people like he's Dame. And I feel silly ever thinking Kyrie Irving was better than Damian Lillard. If you really think about it, because Dame was putting up 30 and 8 some years. Kyrie Irving was never, I'm not going to say never, but
Kyrie be living off big moments, man. Kyrie be living off big moments.
Like what he did with LeBron. So
I'm saying.
All right.
Kyrie has moments.
Let's jump into the Western Conference preview.
Yep.
We back with my man Jaylen and Jacob. Jacob no hat Curry this time around. All right, we're gonna put the West into 4 categories. You're either in a contender, a pretender, play-in bound, or you're in the Wembanyama sweepstakes. So we're gonna start from the bottom. We're gonna start with the Wembanyama sweepstakes. These are people that we think have no chance at any playoff berth at all, and are playing to get the 7-4 freak of nature out in France. We're gonna start with Jacob. Jacob, who do you have in your Wembanyama sweepstakes tier?
I only have 4 teams in this tier. I have the Rockets, the Kings, the Spurs, and the Thunder.
Interesting. Kings. Talk to me about why you. I think a lot of us have the same teams in certain spaces, but go ahead.
I know they have like Fox and Sabonis, but I don't see them winning games this year. Is what I'm saying. I feel like they have pieces, but not enough to win games.
So you're low on the Kings.
Yeah, I don't see them winning.
Who you got, Jalen? We don't gotta go team by team, but just who do you have, and we'll discuss from there.
I have the Spurs, the Thunder. I was debating on the Kings. I took them out, so I got the Spurs, the Thunder, and Houston. That's it.
For me, in my opinion, I feel like we've been saying the Kings are on the cusp for the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, they haven't made that jump. But I couldn't comfortably say they're in the Wembanyama sweepstakes. I feel like if they were in the East, they'd have made the playoffs a couple times in the last few years.
I don't know.
I just don't see them. I don't see them getting a play-in spot or competing. I honestly, I think they're gonna be right on that edge of like that
11, number 12.
11, yeah, that 11 seed.
Yeah.
I don't see them sneaking in to the 10.
What were you saying about De'Aaron?
I was saying he just need. I feel like a lot of people they keep comparing him to. I mean, they give him that John Wall, Russell Westbrook comparison, but I feel like he's not developing to that level. Like most people expected him to do. He's scoring, but to me, he's not really leading the team as in a way that he was hyped up to be able to do.
Right.
In years before, in my opinion.
I gotta disagree. I feel like De'Aaron Fox is underrated. Yeah, I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league.
They're doing the same thing every year.
It's only so much De'Aaron Fox can do with that cast he has now, and they just started getting a couple more players around him. But if you watch De'Aaron Fox on a nightly basis, he's very consistent and he's very underrated. I feel like he needs to get more respect around the league.
I don't know how good De'Aaron Fox is. I feel like some guys, I think to some degree, Shai Gilgeous is in this predicament as well. It's like when you've played in so many games that don't matter, it's hard for us to gauge how good you are. So De'Aaron, I think he was averaging 25 and 8 or whatever. But I don't know how good De'Aaron Fox is. And I think I kind of lean on what Jalen was saying. Is he a true point guard star leader? Or is he just a guy that's able to get buckets on a bad team? But regardless, the Kings roster is not a bad roster. It's not a bad roster at all. But all right, let's move on to the play-in because I think this is where things are going to get interesting. So, Jalen, I'm gonna let you go first. Who do you have in the play-in tier?
Okay, in the play-in tier, I have the Lakers, the Pelicans, Portland, the Kings, and the Jazz. Those are teams I got in the play-in.
Do you think you would have the Jazz before the season started?
I don't know. It's just probably not, but like it's just hard to not take that into account. Like
right. What we seen?
they just
What we
look.
seen earlier?
I don't know. It just looks really. I'm not gonna say they bad, but like it looks really like nothing to look forward to. And then I honestly, who I was really debating on was the Pelicans because I can see the Pelicans being almost above a playing team, but I can see them being the 10th seed too. It just depends on what happens. But with Zion, of course. So yeah, those are the people I have in the play-in though.
Okay. Jacob, who you have been playing tier?
I only have 3 teams. I got the Trailblazers, Jazz, and Lakers. Now, I will say, I thought the Jazz were going to be one of the worst teams in the league. But then I really looked at their roster, and they have a lot of like players who are going to go. Like I don't see the Jazz not playing the hardest they can play every single night because they have a lot of scrappy players on their team, and I feel like that's going to eventually lead them to a play-in. I feel because they got some hoopers on that team, like low key hoopers, and I feel like they can kind of sneak their way into the 9th seed type of thing.
I was smiling because you didn't say Minnesota. But that's fine. We'll we'll get to them.
Like I don't.
I was just waiting. I was like, you only got 3. Interesting. I mean, in mine, I got the Kings. We talked about the Kings. Utah, which I mean, in my opinion, I'd have had Utah in the Wembanyama sweepstakes. But from what we've seen, like you said, if you actually look at their roster, it's not a bad team at all. That ain't just put together. And though I think their plan was to tank because they essentially got rid of their best 3 players.
Right.
In Mitchell, Gobert, and Bogey.
I expect them to be horrible.
Right, that's a competitive unit, and they got a good coach. Will Hardy. I got the Trailblazers as well, for obvious reasons. Dame, like I said, Dame is showing us who Damian Lillard is, and why I rightfully had him in his place on my top 25 list. I think I had him 11. Probably should have been maybe number 10. All right, let's take some time on the Lakers, man. Let's talk about the Lakers.
Let's talk about it.
We're going into year 2 of 360. AD, LeBron, and Russ. The Lakers are 0-3 right now. They're shooting 23% from 3. We just lost a game to the Blazers. Some of you may not know, but Jaylen is a rabid Russell Westbrook fan. So I'm going to give you the floor to defend his play so far, and I'm going to give my take on what's going on with the Lakers and what needs to happen.
Okay, cool. First of all, I will say Russell Westbrook has not been playing great, and he has not been a great teammate on the Lakers. I will admit that he has done some petty things. What we seen, what he was doing he was saying that he does the little pregame ritual thing every game, but still that just looked kind of off. Then when he was on the court,
him not being in the huddle, yeah,
him not being in the huddle, all those different things. It's just he shouldn't be doing that. I completely agree with that. And he's had a couple bad. I'll say the game he played tonight was bad, and the last game was bad. His first game was decent. They just didn't come up with the win. But I just don't understand. It's become like easier for Lakers fans to just feel better blaming Russ for the losses and just blaming him for everything, so they don't have to be upset about anything else in there or have to worry about anything else. Like we're going to talk about tonight. Everyone is talking about the shot Russ took with 30 seconds left. A terrible
30
shot.
seconds left. It was 18
shot.
seconds on the shot clock. And we were up
Terrible
1.
shot. Yes. We're not talking about the fact that Patrick Beverley took a 3 when they were up 5 with like a minute and maybe 30 seconds left early in the shot clock. We're not talking about when LeBron took a 3 when they were up 3. He held the ball for 16 seconds and then took a 3 while they were up 3 points. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about the fact that AD let 6 points get in the paint get scored on him easily. He didn't jump at the basket, anything. This is all in the last 2 minutes of the game. All of this happened. Also, Jeremy Grant got the bucket on LeBron to go up after Russ was taken out the game. The shot was bad, but Russ got taken out the game. So who are we gonna blame that LeBron's tied the game, right? So at that point, why are we still even talking about the shot Russ took if y'all still have a chance to win the game? He gets a bucket scored on him by Jeremy Grant. And then comes back down the court. He has 3 seconds left to score and has Damian Lillard guarding him and takes a fadeaway shot and misses it. We're not talking about any of this. I guarantee everyone is talking about just what Russell Westbrook did. That is the problem with the NBA and the media. The media has ruined like the people's perception of the game. Like you're not talking about anything else but Russell Westbrook. And that's my issue. I'm not gonna defend Russell Westbrook and act like he's been playing great, but they're just sitting here blaming everything on him and acting like he's done nothing good for the team.
Here I go. The loss today is not all Russell Westbrook's fault. Neither is where the team is. However, I mean, going back to when we first made the trade, I said it's not a good fit. It's not going to be a good look for Russ, and it's not going to be a good look for the Lakers. Like, it's not everything is the fault of the Westbrook trade because we took apart a championship team, and I think the Nets getting James Harden kind of screwed with us and just our impatience as a franchise. We went for the home run, and it didn't pay out. However, Westbrook has a history of just not playing smart basketball. And I think that's why, like, out of everything you just named, like, all of that happened. Like, LeBron took a really bad step back 3. AD took a bad angle on a couple shots inside the paint. But, like, what was going through his head when he figured, let me take the shot? Like, like, you can't take a 2-for-1 shot when you're leading the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, out of everything you just said, like, that's the one that was, like, just the strangest for me. And with Russell Westbrook, I believe Russell Westbrook was the highest paid player on our team. I don't know if LeBron's making more than 47. But when you're making $47 million and you were the big acquisition and everything has gone downhill since you got there, that's why he's been kind of a lightning rod. Like, I get it. Like, people like to pile on Russ. I get it. Like, it's OD a lot. Like, I remember when he was on the Thunder when they were young and Westbrook used to take some bad shots, in my opinion. And people used to rag on him. And I was one of those people. Then he played well in the finals, and I was like, you know what? You know, Russ is all right with me. But then over the years, like, I would watch Russ play more, and I'm like, dang, he makes some really boneheaded plays. Like, I think with Russ he's frustrating so much. But let's not act like AD hasn't been catching a lot too. Like, in terms of blaming, like, everyone's saying it's AD's fault because he hasn't taken a step up or this and that. But, like, if AD was playing his best right now, would this team be a championship contender? I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? You can't blame just one person.
That's really the issue. The team is constructed terribly from the get-go. You can't expect a player, like you said, that plays how Russell Westbrook plays to thrive on a team with no shooters. If he, like, there's no way that's going to happen. Exactly. That's not going to happen. So the team itself is put together terribly because, honestly, I believe Russell Westbrook can go on another team right now and do what he's been doing the last 5 years. Maybe not average, like, MVP numbers, but still average a triple-double, shoot not so terribly from the field, and be a decent player on a bad team, yes. But I'm saying he would still have that same productivity. So
I think that's when you get the best out of Russell Westbrook. When he's the star, he gets the ball. Like, he can drag a team and if he gets a secondary star that doesn't mind, playing second fiddle to him, Paul George or Bradley Beal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you can get it. It takes a lot to make your team successful with Russ. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it, even with Houston. Houston took off the second half of that season once they traded Capella. You know what I'm saying? So Russ can be successful in this league. I don't think he can be successful leading a championship team, but he can take a team. I make the comparison all the time. It's like Iverson. Iverson took that team to the finals in 2001, but did Iverson ever really do anything else? Like, where would Iverson have fit for a championship team? I know some people probably listening to this right now think I'm crazy saying this, but I don't think Iverson was like a championship winning type player. But Jake, I'm gonna let you hop in because we've been talking a lot about this. We kind of made the Laker thing all about Russ. But go ahead.
I mean, you want my opinion on who I think the blame should go on?
Just the Lakers in general, or blame or whatever.
I mean, I think honestly, like, I don't think the Lakers are. I feel like the Lakers are a better team than 0-3 doesn't describe the Lakers as like the Lakers are a couple steps away really from being a top tier team in the West. Like y'all have one of the best defenses in the
We're a
y'all
couple
game should
shooters
not
away.
be. What's that?
I said we're a couple
Yeah,
shooters
like
away.
y'all the way y'all shooting like historically bad. The game should not be as close as they really are. Like y'all should be getting blown out every single game by like at least 30. But like y'all games are actually competitive. And I just think y'all are just 2 to 3
I mean,
knockdown shooters.
I mean, we did go down 20 to the Warriors, and we did go down like 17 or something to the Clippers. But like you said, we've been able to fight back and be in games.
And I also think Russ can work with AD and LeBron. I don't think that's the problem. Like I feel like the problem this offseason was acquiring players who play
Good around
the
him.
same who don't shoot. If you have Russ, LeBron, and AD and give them shooters, that team can work. Because there's times where Bron and AD and Russ look like the chemistry looks on point. Like I know today, Bron was sitting at the top of the key for a good 6 seconds. Russ cut to the paint. Bron threw like a bullet pass straight to the paint, and just like stuff like plays like that, like where the chemistry looks is great. And I feel like it's also times where Russ makes great passes, and then the shooters miss the shot. I feel like the team could work with those three. It's just the all-season acquisitions of it just didn't make sense to me. Why?
I think they would work if Russ was coming off the bench. I
That
feel
too.
like I see the best out of those three when only two of them are on the floor. When it's LeBron and AD, or AD Russ. Sometimes LeBron and Russ work, but when it's all three, it just doesn't. To me, in my opinion, it doesn't look as the chemistry doesn't look there, and the natural fit doesn't look. It just doesn't look as seamless. I agree. If you had a lot of shooters, maybe this would be a lot better than it is in terms of their fit. But Russ does shrink the floor regardless. So I think late in games, it's tough to have all three of them in because the reality is AD's not stretching the floor either. Like he can
Yeah, he's
cheat
not shooting
middies
well
and all
either
that.
from three.
But like the thing is, even if AD gets hot from three, the defense is still going to give him that shot. So he's not stretching the floor. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and all three of them aren't great free throw shooters. Now, AD all of a sudden is a great free throw shooter, but we've talked enough Lakers. They're 0-3. I was looking at the schedule, man. This could get ugly.
Oh, I was looking the other day.
We got
bad.
Denver, then Minnesota, then Denver, then New Orleans. We could start 0-7. Like that's realistic. Like, we'll see. Let's talk about Minnesota though, because I definitely have Minnesota as a play-in team.
Same.
I mean, the West. You heard me correctly.
A play-in team.
They 7 through 10 is playing. Yes, they will.
Yes.
Minnesota will not be a top 6 team in the NBA. I mean, now I think the ruling is that we don't know if they're a good team yet. We don't know how good they are or how effective the acquisition of Gobert will be. But I wouldn't put Minnesota up in any other team, any other tier. Well, before we go into Minnesota, let's just talk about our pretenders. Since Minnesota's in your pretenders, Jacob, we'll get to them there. But
Nah, they are my
Jaylen, who you have as the pretender? So these are teams that are better than playing, but we're just not taking them serious to be championship teams.
Okay, in the pretenders, I have Denver, the Suns, and the Mavs. Denver, I feel like for Denver to really be a contender, they need Jamal Murray to be what he was in the bubble. And I can't see him being that ever again in his career. Like, I feel like that was a once-in-a-lifetime thing, seeing him do that. Because even though he got injured, we just haven't seen him do that in the regular season over long periods of time. It was just a short burst. And I feel like that's what they would need. And they still didn't make it to the finals doing that. So I just can't see them being a true contender. The Suns, I feel like the Suns is just it's even though I still feel like they might have a high seed. I can see them still being the second seed because they're a really good regular season team. I can see them still being a high seed, all of that. But it's this way I looked at the Jazz when they were a high seed. Like I feel like they're gonna get to the playoffs and do what they do. They're gonna shrink, and they still have Ayton. You know how much I don't like him, and the rest of the team. Chris Paul's only getting older, and Devin Booker. Even though I know he's great, but he's just not. I don't believe him to be what everybody else thinks he is, and they don't seem to really be getting better. It feels like the same team every year, while everybody else is getting better. So that's why I have them as a pretender. And the Mavs.
Who do you believe Devin Booker to be?
It's just like I can see so many other players being what he is, but people try to lift them above him, above what he is because of the winning and seeing him in the finals. Like I could see Bradley Beal being in that place and doing that, and them still being around the same type of team, like a player of that caliber. I feel like, but you would look at Bradley Beal as such a lower player just because he's not in a winning environment. So that's why I feel like they only put Devin Booker above that environment because he's winning or he's in a winning.
Who do you think is better, Devin Booker or Bradley Beal?
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it to Devin Booker, but it's not. It's not closer than it seems. Yes, it's a lot closer than it seems.
Right.
So I'm gonna say that for the Suns and the Mavs. I love Luka. Don't get me wrong. Luka is a great player, but I just feel like what he does. I look at it almost like, and I've said this before, and people may call me crazy. I look at it how I looked at Harden on the Rockets. Like it's almost like it feels like a one-man show, and I feel like people look at it less as a one-man show because he plays a lot different than a player like Harden. Like he has a lot of different things he can do. He distributes the ball greatly, a lot of different ways he can score. We've seen him have huge games in the playoffs. But I feel like for you to make it to the finals, you really need a team. And I feel like the way he plays, I can't even really see another superstar wanting to play with him because of how much he has the basketball and how much he needs the basketball to do the things that he does. So that's the reason I really can't see him. Especially they just lost Jalen Brunson. Even though they got Christian Wood, I saw Jalen Brunson as a very good player coming up behind him. So they lost him. I had them as a pretender. So those are my 3 percenters.
All right,
and
Jacob,
not the Timberwolves.
Wait,
Jacob,
y'all both had the Timberwolves in y'all playing?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I don't know why you don't.
No, that's just crazy. But we'll see at the end of the year. But for my pretenders, I already know I'm going to get a lot of hate and controversy from my list. But I have a lot of teams of my pretenders. I have the Pelicans, the Nuggets, the Mavericks, the Grizzlies, the Suns, and the Clippers. And the Timberwolves.
Okay, wait. So who do you have as a contender?
One team. The Warriors.
Okay, so let me just go through mine, and we're just gonna go team by team to talk about it. Since you got so many pretenders. And my pretenders, you got the whole West. My pretenders, I have the Suns, I have Dallas, I have the Pelicans, and I have the Clippers. For my contenders, I have Golden State, Memphis, and Denver. So, Jacob, I'm gonna let you talk Timberwolves, and we'll break down some of the other teams. So,
all right,
state your claim.
Can I make my list again, and then I'm gonna incorporate the Timberwolves in it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna say my list. So, for all the pretenders I have in my list. Pelicans, Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the Mavericks, Grizzlies, the Suns, and the Clippers. I feel like all of those teams, like I would not be surprised if any of those teams can either be the 3rd seed or the 6th seed. Like none of them will surprise me if they ended up in those places.
But
none of them.
Okay.
And I feel like the Timberwolves, with the addition of the best defensive center we've seen in quite a while, future Hall of Famer Rudy Gobert. I feel like we took that step from a playing team to a step above it. I feel like we can compete with any of the teams I listed. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we play any of those teams in a 7-game series and we come out on top. I also wouldn't be surprised if we don't. But I feel like it will be competitive. I feel like we took that step. I think Ant is going to take that lead. He's playing. He had a bad first game, but a great bounce back second game. He's playing good tonight. I feel like Cat is going to be in a
who's
role.
better than Zach LaVine and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Cat is in a role. I feel like Cat is in a role where he can do exactly what Cat wants. Like, Cat has been catching so much hate.
Is what Cat wants? Is that what the Timberwolves need? Like,
No. Let me explain. Cat he's caught so much hate from the moment he's came to the league because he loves to shoot rather than play inside. That's what most people be like. You're 6'11" and you don't post up. You know what I'm saying? Cat is a shooter. He's the best big shooter of all time. So,
God.
Yes. You saw the 3-point contest. You saw it.
Oh my
You
God.
saw it. You saw the 3-point contest. No big has shot on the 3-point percentage he's shot on the amount of shots he's taken in NBA history. Look at the stats. But anyways, Cat can play exactly how he wants. We have somebody who can get 15-plus boards every night with Rudy Gobert. D'Angelo Russell, one of the best underrated playmakers in the league, and he can get you a bucket at any time. And Jaden McDaniels is going to have a great step up. Don't be surprised if the Timberwolves are a 4 seed above. But that's all I have to say. Y'all
all right, I don't have a response to that. I'm going to leave the Timberwolves alone. I don't have a response to that. I will say the Suns, they just don't have a bench. They don't have a bench, and they don't have a secondary scorer or playmaker. I don't know if I would say, I don't know if I give them the, I guess it's hard not to say they shrink if they lost in Game 7 and the year before they lost to a lead. But I also feel like they just lost to teams that had a better star than they did. Sometimes when you have the best player on the court, like that's just enough for you. I just don't think the Suns have enough of a bench. I like DeAndre Ayton, man. The more I watch him, I do think he's getting better. And early on, I actually do think Devin Booker is getting better as well. Same thing as Mikal Bridges. I just don't think they're good enough to win a championship.
Right.
It's just simple as that. Like, and Chris Paul is taking a step back. He's making me look pretty silly with the ranking I gave him. Go ahead.
I think you've seen the best of the Suns. Like, I feel like that finals run, even though I don't feel like they should have been there, I feel like that's the best we're gonna see Phoenix until this team is disassembled. Like, I don't feel like they ever can reach to that point again. So that's just
unless they make a move, because even Cam Johnson's getting better, but it's just not everyone's getting better really fast.
Yeah.
So like people can blow right by you. I agree with the Dallas thing. I think Luka does the Harden. So I've always said there's a spectrum. On this side, there's James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and on this side, there's Chris Paul, LeBron James. They're all ball dominant. I think Luka is closer to Chris Paul and LeBron James. But I also agree that more so LeBron, because Chris Paul, I wouldn't say it's hard to play with in terms of moving the ball, but I do think it'd be hard for another star to play with Luka. So I don't necessarily have them as a contender, though. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on a crazy run, only because they have shooters. They have a 3-and-D factory going on there in Dallas. Mm-hmm. Like, if you want a 3-and-D player, you go to Dallas. So they built the team perfect around him, and they added Christian Wood. The Pels, I don't have too much to say about the Pels. I'm high on them. Though I just don't see them seeding wise. Go ahead.
You had the Pels above us?
Yes, I do.
All right.
I got the Pels above Minnesota. Like if I'm in a 7-game series, I would be much more concerned with playing the Pelicans than the Timberwolves.
That's crazy.
Yes.
I just couldn't find myself being comfortable putting my team in the same tier as the Lakers, which is why I feel like we are. I just feel like we can compete with any team in it.
Absolutely not.
I mean, more power to you. More power to you. I had the Clippers on the Pretenders, man. I don't buy the Clippers until I see everybody's played 65 plus games and that there's a fit there and it works. Like, I know the Clippers have the talent, they have the depth, but the Clippers, they're kind of like the Nets for me. Like, I'm not going to buy it until it's ready to be bought. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I could see the Clippers being a quote unquote contender, but I just, for me, it's a wait and see type thing. It's a wait and see type thing. They did look good against the Lakers. Kawhi came off the bench, and he's Kawhi. He's bad. Like,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
it's Kawhi and Dame. Like, it's been exciting to have them back. Zion, I feel like a lot of people are coming back and they're just picking up where they left off. But I'm not buying the Clippers yet. I do have Denver as a contender because they have depth. Like, I don't know what Jamal Murray's gonna look like this year, but like Bones Highland, they added KCP. Like, they have a well constructed team around Jokic. And if MPJ and Jamal Murray can give you 18 to 21 points a game, I don't see why they can't be a contender. But I understand people not having them. And then Memphis, no, go ahead.
But I'm confused because you're saying you need to see that from
The Clippers.
the Clippers, but you
That's what I
haven't
was
seen
saying.
that from Michael Porter Jr.
Or
I have.
You've
No,
seen
staying
what
healthy.
he
We have.
can. That's what I'm
This year.
saying.
staying healthy.
Oh, I mean, I've seen Jamal Murray miss 1 year with a torn ACL, but MPJ is more of an injury concern than the Clippers.
That's what we're saying. What you
Well,
need, they need him, and they need him to be great for them to have a chance to be a contending team. They need Michael
I
Porter
don't think
Jr.
they
to
need MPJ
play.
to be great.
I feel
just
like
think
the
they need-
Clippers' depth is just as good as the Nuggets, if not better.
I just trust the Nuggets more. It's really simple as that. Because Jokic is the center of it all. Like, I trust Jokic more than I trust Kawhi PG.
Nah, man.
Like, I've never seen the Nuggets collapse. Like, I've seen the Clippers collapse under the Paul George Kawhi era.
True. I mean,
When though? But we've never seen the Clippers collapse with both of them. Like
In the
after
bubble, what are you talking
nah,
about?
the bubble.
To the Nuggets.
The Nuggets. Yeah, they lost to the Nuggets.
they
but
collapsed to the Nuggets.
I feel like
That was their first
they're
year.
not the same
That was
team.
only
They're
2 calendar years ago.
But they're not the same team that they were in.
They're not.
Reggie Jackson is not the same
That-
player that he was.
Their bench is not the same as it was
Exactly.
then.
A lot of players on
Reggie,
that team are
listen.
not the same players that they were in.
Listen, maybe it's because I'm a Laker fan. Listen, I don't trust the Clippers yet.
Man, it sounds like some.
And
it's
maybe
some
my
Laker
maybe my reason isn't rational, but I just don't trust them yet. Like the
Laker.
Reggie Jackson, John Wall dynamic. We don't know how that's gonna work out. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's the leader?
I just know they're gonna produce
hate.
somewhere.
I
you know?
agree with that. Somebody has to step up and be a leader for them.
Who's
go
gonna be the
far.
leader?
Somebody has to do that.
I don't think we need to say much about Golden State. They should be better this year than last year.
Yeah, Golden State
Like-
is my only contender.
Yeah, I mean
For contenders, I had the Grizzlies, the Warriors, and the Clippers.
and the Clippers.
So, yeah, I can see that the Warriors. I mean, they just gonna be the Warriors at this point. That's probably my favorite to make the finals again. Because
Yes.
they just, it's like the program that they have. They just keep it.
The program,
they
right.
keep, like they keep it just the same, but they know how to grow. They know how to develop the players. The same players, keep them getting better and better. And then I feel
feels like a
if they
college
really,
program.
Exactly. I feel like if they
Yeah.
get
Like,
James Wiseman where he can be, like,
Oh, it's gonna be
That's
scary.
bad.
It's gonna be
It's
stupid. Like, because they got the past, present, and the future all on the same team right
Exactly.
now. If Wiseman takes a leap, because Jordan Poole's making that leap, and Andrew Wiggins has turned his career around because he's somewhere where he can do what he does well. Andrew Wiggins not a 1,
exactly.
but as a 2, 3, sometimes 4, play defense, like, because Minnesota definitely wasn't that place, and they were not developing him in a manner that they should have. But thankfully, he was saved being sent to Golden State.
I
You need
mean,
to say
but-
Anthony Edwards.
Right, but nah. If Wiseman takes the lead, like even if they don't win next year, I think Steph's gonna end his career with 5 rings. I really do.
I agree with
I
that.
think he's gonna win. I think he's gonna win one more. But all right, so we agree on the Warriors. Lakers make a move, get Miles Turner, buddy. He'll do something. I know. It's just stressful, man. It's stressful days around here. You understand because you're a Hornets fan and they're not going anywhere
All
either.
right, relax.
So
I'd be stressed if my team was 0-3 too. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah, I'd be stressed if my best player was Karl Anthony Towns, but
Very stressed.
you know,
I'd
but
be
here we
very
are.
upset.
Here we are. So, all right, y'all boys. Good looking out. Until next time, for the win.
All right, man.
Thank you for joining us on the For the Win Vodcast.
Make sure you follow us on IG at For the Win Vodcast, on YouTube at For the Win, on Apple Music, on Spotify. We are everywhere.
For the win. And we out.
Peace.
Yes, sir.